Now, if you're getting ready to go on your first cruise, one of the things that probably concerns you the most, or concerned me the most on my first cruise, and a little bit on my second, third, and then after a while, it didn't really concern me at all, is what to bring on a cruise. What do you need to bring on a cruise? Well, have you ever been on a vacation before? What kind of things you bring on your vacation? It's very similar, but there are some differences. So I can't tell you exactly all the things you need to bring because each person is specifically, there are things that are specifically for you that's not for somebody else, that wouldn't be for me, and so on. So um, let's dive right into this. As days leading up to your cruise, one of the things you will need is a lanyard. I say need. I think everybody needs one. There are some people don't. On our very first cruise, we bought one at the gift shop. But now I have a Alabama, University of Alabama lanyard. A lot of people get their favorite pro team or their college, or their lanyards of all kinds. There's lanyards that got rhinestones on them. My wife had those for a couple of cruises. I think she lost it or something. But she used it because she used the lanyard for her work too, because she had to carry an ID badge where she worked. But you're going to have a sail and sign card with pretty much all the cruise lines. And so they sell these on Amazon. This particular picture comes from an Amazon picture. But a lanyard is something you need to think about getting. I think it's important because you have to have your sail and sign card with you at all times. And a lot of times you don't have pockets because you're wearing swimwear or something else. It's nice just to have it. You carry it wherever you go on the cruise, and it's part of your cruise attire. Now, something that's very important that you got to take with you. I mean, you absolutely have to have this with you. Is your paperwork. Your papers, please. You're gonna need paperwork to get on the cruise. I'd recommend getting a passport or renewing your passport if you need to. This I think is very important. Our first two cruises, we didn't have a passport. You don't absolutely have to have a passport on most cruises. I don't know. It's getting more and more that you're going to need one. So it's a good idea to get one, especially if you're going to take even more cruises in the future. And it is, you have to go to a certain post office, and you have to find out, maybe go to your local post office, find out which post office you need to go. You get paperwork, you got to fill it out, you got to bring your birth certificate in, all that stuff to get your passport, and then you have to wait for it to come in the mail. So it's something you need to prepare ahead of time. I would say probably 2 months at least ahead of time before your cruise starts. The other, if you don't bring your passport, and you're going to go the way, if you contact the cruise company and find out if you need the passport or not for your particular cruise, you're going to need, if you don't bring your passport, you need a social security card, a birth certificate that's stamped, and your state ID. Technically, you're still in America when you're on the ship. And when you port, it's kind of like going into Mexico. You don't necessarily need a passport to go into Mexico. But actually, the only country I remember that they actually checked my passport was getting into Cuba. You actually, when you cruise to Cuba, if they open that up again, you absolutely have to have a passport for that. But it's getting to be more and more. Passport is just quick. You show your passport, you're on. You don't have to go through all the paperwork where they look through your birth certificate and make sure it's authentic and all that. They look at your passport, it takes them about 2 minutes, and you're done. So it saves a lot of time by having a passport. And coming back from like Bahamas, they check your ID getting back onto the dock. The Bahama government officials, they check it, and so it's just better to have one. It avoids a lot more problems you might have. Plus, if you end up getting stuck on an island, on one of the ports, it's a lot easier to get back home with too. Now you're going to have to print up a couple documents that you're going to get emailed to you. And one is your boarding pass. This is a boarding pass. And you're also going to have your luggage tags. Now, the pass is in color, but if you can't get a color printer like I couldn't last time, you can print it black and white. It'll still work. The other is your luggage tags. This is the other document. You need one of these for each luggage you take. I only put on one. My wife puts on one, and then you have to fold it up. And what I do is I've been taking packing tape, the clear packing tape, and covering it so in case it gets wet. But you can order these on Amazon, and sometimes you can order these with the lanyards. They got package deals on Amazon, and it keeps your luggage tag protected. They find your room through your luggage tag, and when your room's ready, they'll be out in the hall like this. Now, as far as the suitcases and your luggage, me and my wife, we have a three-piece orange, hard plastic with wheels on it that we use to cruise. Originally, I just had a handheld suitcase for several of my cruises, but the last couple cruises we got this. It was actually a birthday present for me a few years back. But one now the smaller one that come in the kit was a smaller suitcase with wheels on it. That's one my wife carries, and I carry for my carry-on. And I carry this, which is a old-fashioned style mail bag, and it has all kinds of compartments. And in the back has zipped area where I can keep my documents I need for getting on the ship. Your boarding pass, basically, and your proof that you had the COVID test done, and all that stuff. So you have it readily available. A lot of people will take backpacks with them. Up until last year, I brought a backpack with me on every cruise. This year, I brought my mail bag because I bring my art supplies. So I carry my art supplies in my carry-on. So this is a neat little picture I got off of Google search, but it gives you an idea what you need to bring. Carry-on and a suitcase, basically. You can have a couple suitcases you really think you need them, but I don't think you will. Now, you don't need a luggage tag for your carry-on, obviously, but you will need one for your, because when you get to the cruise ship, and there'll be people. I don't know what they call these people, but there'll be people there that will come and grab your stuff from your car, and then you go park your car and come back. So usually a little drive-through, quick in and out. Quicker than the airport. You get out, get the guy, he takes your luggage, you give him a few bucks because, it's complimentary. Tip somebody who's working for you like that. He's probably getting paid minimum wage. Throw him $5 or $10 or even 20 if you're that generous. You can even give him a Hondo if you want, but, give him something. That way your luggage is going to get taken care of. That's what I always feel. Tip them, and they're going to take good care of your luggage. Now, what you bring is partly on you and your wants and needs. There are essentials that everybody probably need to bring, and I made a list, and I'm going to go down the list of things that you might want to bring. There are websites that'll give you lists, and you can download lists of things you need to bring. Now, I wrote down a list here. You can download lists on the internet. So that I won't miss things in telling you what you should bring and what you need to bring. Things that you need, you're going to bring your phone because those are great for taking pictures. You can use the cruise ship's Wi-Fi and kind of use your phone a little bit like that. I find it a little slow and unnecessary. I'm taking a vacation from. To me personally, I don't need to contact the world while I'm on vacation. But I do use the phone to take pictures and take short films and stuff like that. I also bring cameras along. Something you might want to bring. I bring GoPros, action cameras, because they're small. I can take a picture. I can upload it on the internet. I'm not into the photography of the big thing. But if you want to bring your big cameras, bring that and probably bring it in your carry-on. You need a phone charger. And you might need a charger for your GoPros or your little cameras too. So chargers are important. we had an incident where our charger got broke because my wife's carry-on, she accidentally closed the lid on it and it broke it, so it didn't work. We had to buy one in Mexico, and that one was it, it it was a mess because it didn't charge your phone unless you phone charge the phone off. We still have it, and I charge my phone on it. Now my phone won't charge. I have to charge it on a pad because it won't charge with the charger thing anymore. And I don't know if that broke it or what happened with that. But anyway, sunglasses, a hat, and your clothes and sunscreen. Those are important. You don't want one pair of clothes all the time. Nobody's going to do that anyway. Even if it's your first cruise, you're not going to forget bringing clothes. I don't know why I even put that on the list, but a hat, like a hat like this. My wife has this wide brim hat, a baseball hat, give you a little bit of shade in front of your eyes, and a pair of sunglasses, and sunscreen. Sunscreen's important. You may not need it. I didn't even use sunscreen on my last cruise. I got sunburned on one cruise, but I don't sunburn that easy. My wife does, but she puts sunscreen on and stays out of the sun much. But you're going to be in the sun if you're going to be out by the pool deck, when you're on your excursions and things like that. You're going to need sunscreen, so that's important to bring with you, and your medications, and your hygiene items, and your clothes. If you've ever been on a trip before, and you probably have, you know that your things you're bringing is limited to the size of the suitcase you got. So I'm going to go down the list of clothes, and then hygiene and meds. Okay, the amount of days you're going to determine how much clothes you got. They do have laundry on the cruise, but if I'm not going to only be on a cruise for 5 to 6 days, I'm not going to need to do laundry. I can just bring 5 to 6 days worth of clothes. I wear jeans on the day on because jeans take up a lot more room in your suitcase. So the clothing items that take up much more room, the bulkier shoes, the the jeans, I wear the day of the cruise. I don't wear everything else. They're pretty much the same. I wear a t-shirt each day and a Hawaiian shirt over the t-shirt. And if I want to switch out and just wear the Hawaiian shirt or just t-shirt, I can kind of mix and match throughout the day if I need to. Socks. I always buy a whole new package of socks. If I'm going 6 days, I see a package that has at least 6 pairs of socks on up, and you got to remember the day on. I'll put in a fresh pair of socks on the day on if I'm staying in a hotel or if I'm just leaving from home. And I'll just have the whole package of socks in there. And then underwear, I always buy a new package of underwear. I buy packages that come in like 5 or 6 underwear per package. So I do that. Swimwear. Now, one of the things said at least 3 pairs of swimwear. Now, I don't believe that's necessary. I'll wear the same. So I'll get 2 pairs of swimming trunks, and one of mine I wear. I don't spend that much time in the pool, but even if the first one I did a lot of time on the in the hot tub, so I kind of avoid hot tubs now because I think they're little pools of bacteria. So you got to be careful. You have any open sores or anything like that. Don't even go in the hot tub if you have any open sores on you. There's always signs that say that. Trust me, you can get nasty infection. So swimwear, how often you're going to swim? I'll bring a couple pairs of trunks, but I didn't even use them last time. But they don't take up that much room. Women, theirs might take up more. Depends. You might want to lay out and sunbathe, so you'll get swimwear for that, and you're not even swimming. But you don't spend all day in it. Maybe a couple hours of time to go back to your room, change. So you may not need to wear multiple swimwear. 1 or 2, I think, would be enough for most people. A good pair of walking shoes, whether that be tennis shoes, or even if you're very into those lightweight hiking shoes, because you might be walking around depending on what kind of excursions. I go on excursions that make you walk a lot because I like to visit the Mayan ruins, and that's what I'm really into when I'm on a cruise, when I'm on an excursion. If there's Mayan ruins where we're at, I want to go see them. And those will always take a little walking. A lot of excursions you need to walk to different places to get to your tour bus and stuff. So, good comfortable pair of shoes to walk around in, even walk around on the ship. And you can wear those on that day if you want. A lot of times I'll have tennis shoes and sandals. I'll wear the sandals, on the cruise. I'll wear the you know what I'm saying. Your bulkier shoes. Really, for a guy, you only need 3 pairs of shoes. You'll need your formal shoes for the formal night, a pair of nice dress shoes. You'll need comfortable walking shoes and either flip flops or sandals. And that's really all you need. Women, your needs are different, and I can't really express what you need. You'll need some nice pumps or heels to go on the formal night. And then maybe if you go dancing, you might need some dancing shoes. I don't know what women's shoes are much about them. But, shorts, I wear mostly shorts on the cruise. So I've got me about 5 pairs of shorts. I wear those on every cruise. And some of them I've had since my first cruise, and I still have them because I only wear them once a year. So I wear a bunch of t-shirts. So I'll bring a bunch of t-shirts with me, and I wear a Hawaiian shirt over it. And I kind of like color match. If the Hawaiian shirt's got like red flowers, I'll wear a red shirt under it, or blue flowers, a blue shirt under it. That's all up to you. You want to coordinate, or you don't have to. I always have t-shirts and Hawaiian shirts. A belt or suspenders. I'm kind of a heavy guy, so I need to wear suspenders. Belt, if your clothes are not quite fitting you, they're clothes you wear only once a year. Maybe they're getting a little loose because you're losing weight or something. A good belt. You don't want to be sitting there trying to hold your pants up the whole time. So, bring a belt of some sort. And the hat, as I mentioned before. And some people need sleepwear, but like pajamas and stuff. And I just sleep in my underwear and socks. Not even my socks usually, but sometimes. But that's all I'll ever wear to bed. I can't wear any because it restricts and it makes me uncomfortable. I'm sitting there fidgeting with it. I go to sleep better if I'm just in my underwear. Now, as far as hygiene items, shampoo and conditioner and whatever hair treatment you women do, they do have, some of the ships do have shampoo and soap, body wash stuff, and I use that. So I usually don't bring any soap, body wash with me, because they usually have it in the every cruise I've been on, they've had it in the shower, so I use that. Even the shower in the gyms. Lotion, if you need lotion. You're one of those people, your skin dries out, you need lotion. I know a lot of women like to put lotion on. Bring your lotion. Razors, shave. I'll shave up for the formal night, so I try to look all spiffy, so I shave. Hairbrush and a comb is another thing. You can buy those in the gift shop. They're going to cost you a little more if you bring them. You can save a little money. Deodorant. I shouldn't even have to say that, but I'm going to say it. Toothbrush and toothpaste. You'll need that stuff. Women, you need your makeup. You need all that stuff. Make yourself all pretty for single to get the guys to think, hey, man, she's hot. I don't know. Maybe you don't wear makeup. Something for the formal night, you might need makeup. I don't know. Women, tampons and pads, and I don't want to go into that because I don't want to talk about that stuff, but you need that stuff. Okay, medications, whatever's prescribed to you, you got a medication to take once a day. Make sure you bring that stuff, because there's no pharmacy on the ship, and then if you go to Mexico, you have to trust their pharmacies. And Tylenol, Motrin, those kind of things you'll need to bring because they're expensive on the ship. You have to buy it. Seasick pills. First cruise, you might want to bring you a little thing of them. You may never need them. We've never used them. First time on the cruise, I did get seasick, but someone who worked for the cruise ship told me eat some French bread or a bagel, and that'll help your stomach. What causes you to get seasick is the fluids in your stomach are sloshing back and forth if you're hitting some rough seas, and it might make you seasick. Um, but we only experienced that on one cruise. We had a storm, and that was my very first cruise, and we went through a storm, and it was kind of rocky, but it was all right. Pepto Bismol or Imodium, if you use those things, you know what you usually use. Some people get upset and eat certain things, and so if there's those medicines you take, those over the counter stuff, Tums and things like that. Another thing you might want you should bring is aloe vera gel, because that's the best over the counter treatment for a sunburn. If you get sunburned, now I've only got sunburned once. My wife's never gotten sunburned, but so I've only had experience with sunburn once. But you never know. You might forget. You having a few drinks and you're out in the sun, you kind of forget your how much time you're spending out there, and all of a sudden you got a sunburn on your arm, and those can be real uncomfortable. And so aloe vera gel is very important to bring. One thing, and you don't have to go to the formal night, but I always do, and that's when we take our pictures. So on the formal night, I'll bring a nice jacket, a nice button-down shirt, and the slacks. And this year I wore my cowboy boots. I wore a Western style suit. I got several suits. I used to be a preacher years ago, so I have a lot of suits in my closet still. So you know with your suit, the first time I brought a suit carrier thing, but I found out that if you just take your suit and put it in the bottom of your suitcase, make it sure it's the first thing you put in there, and you put it in there with the shirt and slacks all in the same hanger, and then put it in the bottom of your suitcase and kind of flatten it and fold the sleeves in a little bit if you have to, and that way it won't get all messed up with all this. Then you can put everything on it. It'll kind of press it a little bit, and it'll keep it from being as wrinkly as could end up, I think. And if it does get a little wrinkly, just keep it in the bathroom, so when you take your warm showers, that steam will help loosen it up. Because the formal night's usually not the first night. It could be second all the way to several nights later. So your second night could be your formal night, depending on what. This last cruise, it was the second night. Sometimes it's the night before last night. So it all depends on the cruise. They'll surprise you when you get on the cruise when it is. But make sure you bring your formal wear. Women, your evening gown or whatever it is. You and your husband or your mate or whatever can sit there and negotiate how you're going to match each other. It's also the night if I always get my picture taken on formal night, and so right after you get done eating, if you go on the deck that has the casino on it and all that, and walk down there, and all the way down there's people with different backgrounds taking pictures, and you can get your picture taken in multiple backgrounds, and then pick the one you want and get it framed or whatever you want there on the cruise. Not everybody's into that, but that's something I do. And one thing I always bring, because it's a useful tool, is a pocket knife. It don't have to be. It shouldn't be anything big. And a flashlight. You never know when you're going to need a flashlight, and you always want to have one just in case. Never had to. Now I've had to use a flashlight sometimes to cut things, open packages, and things like that. So it's nice to have have a knife with you on hand. That way you're not opening packages with your teeth and stuff like that. And a flashlight is good anytime. Anytime you go anywhere, you should have a flashlight in your car. You should have a flashlight in a lot of places. You never know. Your cell phone works as a flashlight, so I mean, technically you wouldn't need one anyway, I guess, if you got your cell phone with you. Now, what to take in your carry-on, whether it's a small suitcase, a backpack, or a over-shoulder bag like I got. What do you take in your carry-on? Well, I carry my sunscreen in there, because when you get on the ship, depending on how early you get on the ship, you usually go up to one of the fun decks, they call it. The deck with the casino on it, or the deck the deck with the Lido with the buffets and stuff on it, and the bars. There are bars on both those decks. Those are usually the deck or the lobby out in front. But the lobby out in front usually gets crowded pretty fast. And usually those are people waiting for their friends to get on it, or not all getting on at the same time. So I'd go up, get on the elevator as soon as you get on the ship. Once you pass through all the security points, you're on the ship. go up to either the Lido deck or the promenade deck, usually where the casino is and all that. Depends. And I go up to the Lido deck. I find me a place in the shade to sit down with a table and might get something to eat. I have my first beer. Last time I sat at a bar in the very back of the ship. There was a couple seats at the bar, so me and wife sat down. But that's what you do, and then they'll announce there's a speaker on the ship, and they'll announce that your room's ready. There's still people boarding the ship till 3 o'clock, I think. Those people just get in their room, wait for their luggage. But usually, you get then your luggage is in front of your room, unless your luggage is suspected the security still has it, and then people sneaking booze in their luggage because they know they don't check every bag, and their bag got checked. If their bag's late, then they know that something went on. So you need certain things. You carry on. Now I carry my art supplies on my carry-on. Your hobby things, a lot of times your cameras and things like that you want to bring with you. Your journals, if you're into journaling, a book that you want to read, maybe your Kindle, your laptops. Let me go through my list here. A sunscreen is something you need in case you don't get a shady spot to sit in. But a change of clothes in case something happens. Somebody bumps into you with a bowl of spaghetti. I don't know. Anything could happen. So it's always good to have a pair of a change of clothes and a change of underwear and a change of socks. Always good to have them. Now, if you're going to bring a bottle of champagne or a bottle of wine, they ask you to bring it in your carry-on. Okay, so if you're going to bring those things, we always bring a bottle of champagne. My wife, as soon as we get in our room, we'll sit on the balcony and we'll drink champagne. Your Kindle, your medications. Bring your medications in your laptop. In your carry-on. All your paperwork in your carry-on. I carry my CPAP machine not in my carry-on because it has its own bag with it. So I'm actually carrying 2 carry-ons. Me and my wife both have a CPAP machine, so we carry that with us. You can carry some of your you don't need your shampoo. There's not going to be a condition where you need your shampoo, or you might need lotion. It's up to you because you know what you need. Just think of that you're going to be stuck somewhere. Not stuck. I wouldn't call it being stuck, but you're not going to be to your room right away unless you get on late. I usually get on around noon. They start letting people on a ship around 10 or 10:30. They start the process around 10, maybe take you 10:30 or 11 to get on the ship. So I start at 12 and usually get on the ship around 12:30 or 1, and you're sitting there until about 2 o'clock maybe. And they'll say, announce on there, all the rooms are ready. It was a lot quicker this last cruise, but that's because that ship probably had their ducks in a row and they knew you were doing really well. And so we went to our room, and then we had champagne. Sat out on the balcony and had champagne until dinner time. Watched the Mississippi River. So that kind of concludes my lecture on what you need for a cruise. If you have any questions about what I said or what, just feel free to ask a question in the comment section of this video, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. These cruise videos haven't really caught on yet, so I'm sure I can get to every question, no problem. And other people might read your question and answer it too. People that cruise are more than happy to answer questions. I know some of you watching this may be getting ready for your first cruise, and it's maybe the first cruise is better to overpack than underpack. Remember also that you might be buying souvenirs, so leave room in your suitcase for souvenirs. Now, I have a friend that would go to Goodwill and buy old T-shirts to take on a cruise, and buy their clothes for the cruise at the Goodwill, so that if they had to throw some of that out in order to get room for souvenirs, they didn't mind throwing away clothes that they spent a couple bucks on. there's that you can look into too. If you're going on an Alaskan cruise, you're gonna need more warm weather clothes. If you're in the Caribbean, you're not going to need so much warm weather clothes. It's good to have a pair of jeans and maybe one long sleeve shirt if you need it. I've never needed a long sleeve shirt. And so enjoy your next cruise. And until next time, please sub and hit the like button, and you'll be golden, and I'll be